Hello Bama fans! Ryan Grubb almost worked with Nick Saban. Did you know? If you think it would be awesome for them to work together, subscribe to the channel. The story of Ryan Grubb and his journey to Alabama is one of those chapters that show how college football is not just about tactical schemes or victories on the field, but also about relationships, loyalty, and difficult decisions. When it comes to the Alabama Crimson Tide, one of the most consistent dynasties in college football, every move inside and outside the program is followed with a magnifying glass. And Ryan Grubb's arrival to the team, even if indirectly linked to the recent past, brings with it a fascinating narrative that deserves to be explored. Grubb, now Alabama's offensive coordinator, had a golden opportunity to join Nick Saban's staff before the 2023 season. For many coaches, this would be an offer they couldn't refuse. After all, working alongside Saban, one of the greatest names in the history of the sport, is almost like earning a doctorate in football leadership and strategy. Yet Grubb declined. Yes, he said no to the man who built an empire in Tuscaloosa. And it wasn't out of respect or ambition, quite the opposite. When asked about his decision, Grubb was honest and straightforward. This was very difficult, and I have a lot of respect for Coach Saban. That statement alone speaks volumes about the coach's character. He wasn't disparaging Alabama or Saban's legacy, he simply had other priorities at the time. And those priorities were in the locker room at the University of Washington, where he had built something special with players like Michael Penix, Rome Odunze, Jalen McMillan, and Troy Fautanu. These players weren't just pieces of a team to Grubb, they were people with whom he had developed genuine bonds. The guys I had in the locker room at Washington, the relationships I had with them, Grubb explained. We knew we were ready for a really big season. And he was right. Under the leadership of Kalen DeBoer and with Grubb as offensive coordinator, the Huskies not only had a memorable season, but they also made it to the national championship. This colossal feat was not only a reflection of the talent of the players, but also of the hard work and human connection that Grubb helped forge within the group. Now, with Grubb finally in charge of Alabama's offense, it's clear that his decision to stay in Washington was the right one at the time. Not only has he honored his commitments to the players who trusted him, but he's also proven himself as a strategist and leader. That no doubt caught the attention of Saban, who was not one to give second chances easily. When Grubb finally accepted the invitation to join Alabama, he brought with him not only an impressive resume, but also the experience of having led a team to the top of college football. What makes this story even more interesting is the fact that Kalen DeBoer, Alabama's current head coach, also has a direct connection to Grubb. The two worked side by side in Washington, creating one of the most explosive offenses in the country. Now, reunited in Tuscaloosa, they have the opportunity to take Alabama's legacy to new heights. With Saban overseeing it all like the visionary architect he is, the combination of DeBoer and Grubb could be just what the Tide needs to continue dominating the national stage. For Alabama fans, Grubb's arrival is cause for optimism. He's not only a talented coach, but someone who has demonstrated values that extend beyond the football field. His loyalty to Washington's players shows that he understands the importance of building strong, lasting relationships. And that's something Alabama's players will certainly appreciate. In a sport where change is constant and pressures are immense, having someone like Grubb on staff is a plus. As we look to the future, it's impossible not to imagine the impact this trio of Saban, DeBoer, and Grubb could have on Alabama. While Saban remains the driving force behind the program, DeBoer and Grubb represent the next generation of leaders who can ensure the Tide remains competitive for years to come. Grubb's decision to turn Saban down in the past wasn't a hindrance, but rather a chapter that enriched his journey and set the stage for this moment. Football is about more than just XS and OS on the board. It's about people, stories, and choices that shape unexpected paths. And if there's one thing we can learn from Ryan Grubb's journey thus far, it's that sometimes saying no in the present can open even bigger doors in the future. What do you think? What about recruiting? There are stories in football that go beyond the simple act of a player receiving an offer from a college. Nathan Carson's journey to the Alabama campus is one of those stories that resonates with any passionate fan of the sport. It's the story of a dream built over years, fueled by admiration and passion, and finally realized in a moment he'll likely cherish forever. When Nathan Carson stepped onto the University of Alabama campus on Monday to watch the start of spring practice, he wasn't just another promising player looking for an opportunity. He was a die-hard Crimson Tide fan, someone who grew up admiring the red and white jerseys, the epic games under Nick Saban and now the new era under Kalen DeBoer. So when Carson walked off campus with an official offer from the program, it wasn't just a sports accomplishment, it was the fulfillment of a childhood dream. "It means a lot because I've been an Alabama fan since I was a kid," Carson told Touchdown Alabama. "It feels like a dream come true." Those words carry a special weight. This isn't just about a talented player being recognized by one of the nation's top programs, it's about a young man who has watched his favorite team win national championships, dominate rivals and build a culture of success, and now has the chance to be a part of it. For Carson, putting on an Alabama uniform will not only be a professional responsibility, but also a personal honor. A sophomore at Irmo High School in Columbia, South Carolina, Carson has already accumulated offers from other prestigious universities, including South Carolina, Florida State, and Virginia Tech. But the offer from Alabama means something different. Not only because of the prestige of the program, but because of the way he sees what the Crimson Tide stands for. "It's incredible, the level of intensity on and off the field, the expectations that the coaches have for the players," Carson said. "Everything is just perfect." This view reflects what many observers already know: Alabama is not just a football team, it is a well-oiled machine that demands the best of its players and rewards those who are willing to put in the work. Carson is a colossus in the trenches. Playing right tackle at Irmo High School, he displays physical strength and power, combined with refined technical skills. His ability to execute zone blocks and combination blocks is eye-catching, as is his efficiency in pass protection. In a sport where the passing game is increasingly popular, having a player who can provide security for the quarterback is a valuable asset. And Carson appears to be exactly that type of athlete, someone who can evolve and adapt to the level demanded by Alabama. What makes this story even more interesting is the prospect of how Carson might fit into the Crimson Tide system under Kalen DeBoer. With Ryan Grubb running the offense, Alabama is building an offensive identity that combines explosiveness with versatility. To do that, it needs a solid and reliable offensive line group. With his physical and technical attributes, Carson has the potential to become a key piece of that puzzle. In addition, his hardworking, dedicated mentality seems to align with DeBoer's philosophy, who, although new to the position, has already demonstrated a modern and innovative approach at Bama. But beyond his athletic and technical qualities, there is something more intangible about Carson that makes him an ideal candidate for Alabama: his genuine passion for the program. Many players choose colleges for strategic reasons, such as NFL visibility or proximity to home. In Carson's case, however, his decision is driven by something deeper: a love for Alabama that comes from years of watching games, admiring the players and dreaming of one day being a part of its history. That kind of emotional connection can be a big differentiator, especially in an environment as competitive as the Crimson Tide's. For Alabama fans, Nathan Carson's arrival on the program's radar is cause for excitement. He represents not only a promising talent, but also the continuation of a tradition that blends athletic excellence with a passion for the program's values. When he eventually signs his letter of intent and puts on the Crimson Tide helmet for the first time, he will be more than just a player joining the team. He will be a fan fulfilling a dream and, hopefully, helping to write the next chapter in Alabama's storied football history. Let me know what you think. Let me know in the comments.